Hello and welcome to my ITSL game against Fabrizio Malonni. $1,590, his rating 1710, my rating, so here we start. What am I thinking about this hand? It's certainly not rich in terms of ops. Not too bad as well, because it has 15. But if it's purged, it hurts. Now the good things. I have good headline, captured Nazi scientist. I have independent threats and Romanian abdication, so I can play them in this order. And I don't have problematic cards. The worst card I have is NORAD, spaceable even if purged. So I think it's quite playable, although if I'm purged, my firepower is strongly limited. Okay then. Now that's one of the latest games in the preliminary stage of this year's ITSL. Oh, I think I'm gonna see Marshall soon, but I can't help it anyway. So let's headline this, and yes, Marshall Plan, which means Europe is done, I guess. Of course, independent threats is still worth playing, and maybe even Romanian abdication is worth triggering anyway. But I just have to accept the fact that whenever Europe is scored, he is very likely to gain 5 points of it. Okay, let's hit a run anyway. And actually a 4 was a great result. 6 would be better, but 5 would be worse, because it would give him a counter. Things to do this turn: enter South Korea, do something about the Middle East, although I doubt in him having it. Had this one. Okay, so let's go here anyway. Now that he had scored Asia scoring, I don't really think I must overprotect North Korea. An access gainer to Iraq, but I don't like this move, because Iraq is not a good target to be could, and I can quite easily gain things there. D-Star, at this stage of the game, I'd rather not have it in my hand. I can't see good source of ops to distal from. But since it may be my hold card, I'm not particularly concerned about it. At the very worst, I may trigger Romanian abdication, and just at the worst, let's say, and just gain points. This is interesting. Looks somewhat wasteful. Now I'm tempted to coup Lebanon, which doesn't change anything about Middle Eastern scoring, of course, but would change if I got Nasser, for example. And perhaps this would be a source of ops. Of course, another problem with this is high DEFCON now. But let's give this a try. Maybe let's give it a try with the Korean War. Just to have my Milops. This time I rolled only a 1. So I have my Milops in case he didn't drop DEFCON, and frankly speaking, he doesn't have good targets to drop DEFCON. The drawback is if he now enters Malaysia, I'm practically forced to coup it with NORAD. Spaced Fido, okay. I'm gonna space NORAD in this case. We both failed our space race. Not a big deal. Europe can be pain in the ass. On the other hand, Suez. This was behind your Lebanon. The goal, socialist blockade. This all may work. Okay, let's keep you in the deck and attempt against Lebanon once more. This time successfully, although he has an easy counter. But it leaves DEFCON at 4, so if I get socialist, I may, for example, try to coup Italy on turn 2. I don't like his play. He's now losing to Milops. Okay, he's not leaving DEFCON that high. Middle East scoring, not the one I wanted to have. With 5-year plan, I'd rather have Euro scoring. If he has Europe scoring, he's probably going to score it now. So let's go with Nasser, followed up with immediate Middle East scoring, I guess. What about hold card? Maybe even none of them? No, none of them is not a good option, because UN intervention and 5-year plan should go together anyway. But what it means is that I should... This was quite weird as a choice of headline. I should drop DEFCON soon. On the other hand, if I don't see Europe played relatively early, I may do one of two things. First is to hold 5-year plan and just play all the other cards. And the second one is to hold 5-year plan and UN intervention, playing the China card. Now it's tempting to play nuclear test ban to Libya and Iran, because if he coups and flips one of these, Middle East scores just as good as now, and if he fails it scores better. But if he coups and succeeds, I have to respond immediately as DEFCON drops to 2, and I don't have a good card to do it. I want to have nuclear test ban as a counter to his coup. And I don't want to declare myself about the China card so soon. So let's score Middle East, as it gives 3 points. Now even if he scores Europe, I'm still leading there. Yes, he did it. So I think I could as well play the entire hand. In which case, of course, distal must be evented, so I must drop DEFCON. So let's attempt to drop DEFCON here. I assume he counters immediately, because this really is what should be done. On the other hand, if he doesn't, it's very unclear what should I do. I think the answer is I should distal to Thailand. No reason to be greedy about access to Italy. Thailand is much more important. And well, yes. I don't want to keep 5-year plan now, that DEFCON is soon going to drop to 2. And of course I'd like to hold the China card. So I will probably drop DEFCON if he doesn't, and he does. And he does it with some success. Okay, one option is to try to realign him off Venezuela and maybe South Africa. Another option, which I prefer, is to take domination in Asia and secure some more in Middle East. Yeah, this was of course the downside risk of playing distal like this, giving up Venezuela and probably Brazil. Maybe it was a mistake, I'm not really sure about this. Jesus Christ. I don't really need to remove him from Israel. Let's increase the potential impact of Arab-Israeli war. Sooner or later, Camp David will bring him there again. And 2 taken from UK is a domination taken off. Not particularly convinced about this move, but my firepower may be not enough to grab back domination in Asia. because now I have 3 more and I am 1 country behind. And he just spaced Vietnam revolts. So 5-year plan, resolve event. Maybe let's make it clearer. It's 1. This should be overprotected. And yeah, let's secure access here. Maybe I should have overprotected North Korea, but I couldn't do everything at once. So now Europe is rather American, but he has to do something about it, to invest something earlier. Middle East is Soviet, but only until he breaks Lebanon. Asia is volatile, but rather Soviet than American. And he should do something about Venezuela. At least one should be put in Brazil now, otherwise he may lose access again. Red Scare wasn't seen, containment wasn't seen. Yeah, he broke North Korea. He has Red Scare. And I have Europe scoring. He also has defectors. And he knows I have decoy. Am I able to do anything better than what I have now in Europe? I don't think so. He has socialists, he has the goal. No, the goal was discarded to blockade. So let's go with this. Maybe he defects it. No, he purged me. Okay, this was quite predictable as well, so let's attempt to coup Venezuela. And this coup attempt worked. I cannot complain about that I got purged and that Europe came back, because on the other hand I got both decards. So this is quite fair. I think I may play the... Okay, this may be not so fair if he has so rich hands. 5-3. No point in fighting for Asia. Let's just focus on not losing Asia. So 1, 2, 3. And 4 here. Yeah, if I don't play the China card, I have only weak op cards, so I don't want to just leave Zaire as an obligation for further influence placement. Because I was thinking about Algeria, Nigeria, Angola, Indonesia, but this wouldn't help very much in Asia. If I really need Asia, I just grab Pakistan, India and Burma. I need 5 points for this, so China card would do, if not purged, but even if purged, it would do just in 2 moves. First one would be to Burma, just to secure India and Pakistan maximally against the potential war. Now, I think he should have taken care about Algeria first. And things to be done on my side. Argentina, Libya, Brazil. In Argentina it's enough to have one with this hand. Yeah, breaking. but over-investing. Of course, he's a Mr. Big Spender. He can afford it. I, on the other hand, can rather not afford overprotections. Because if I overprotect Zaire now, and he realigns me off here, it's crippling a little. Let's do it anyway. Realigning at 0 has huge downside risk. My last play is containment, so at least this is a 2. Libya is not as important. Argentina is important in case of some nasty realignments. Formosan can be given to him, I think. Venezuela, I got 6 with a coup, and this is actually very important that it wasn't a 5, because I'm now protected both against the Voice of America to wipe me off here, and against breaking control with Panama Canal returned. But of course I'm still vulnerable to losing access due to some very strong series of realignments. So containment should visit Brazil, in my opinion. And the Cambridge 5 is actually a nice card to leave. It's always 2 ops, and always a quite good headline if I really don't have anything better. This wasn't very aggressive, so okay. CIA still in the deck, but at least it's not a problem for the next 3 turns. And neither is grain sales, because I won't be purged probably during these 3 turns. He certainly made some serious mistakes. The most serious one, in my opinion, so far was not protecting his access to Venezuela. I think if I take this way, you're mostly forced to spend everything in Europe to repair it, unless you realize that Europe is the only region the scoring of which is in the discard pile. So we are ending the early war at 0 victory points, but what the map looks like is what I really like. And my opponent doesn't play very convincingly. Central America scoring and Africa scoring, I have 2. So the chance of him having another one are rather not very strong. The question is, do I really want to trigger one of them? It would be Central America, I guess. Because otherwise what? I can play Muslim Revolution. No, I will start with the Cambridge 5 and then follow it with Alliance for Progress, couing Mexico. Hopefully. Oh. Should have played Muslim Revolution. Oh well. I somehow forgot about Missile Envy now. Maybe because I'm not very happy about this hand. I mean, I have 3 unplayable cards. No, 2. bird trap and colonial records, but Nixon plays the China card is nasty. Of course, I prefer to give him 2 VPs rather than the China card. Alliance for Progress is nice to have at this stage of the game, of course. It's gonna cost me, well, 2 points. Okay. So he has Southeast Asia. If he has Southeast Asia, this is of course forced. So let's do it this way. Nixon costs me 2 and Alliance for Progress costs me 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play the China card and then take care of other stuff. Mr. Another big spender. Oh no, 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 no. I can't let you gain so much from Alliance for Progress. So let's do it this way. It's not so straightforward which non-battleground should be picked, but I have to increase the power of Che, and sooner or later I will have to take care of mill-ups. And of course I have to play both scoring cards, not to be forgotten. So I like to hold 2 cards, space 1, or better space 2 cards, play the China card, but the problem is I don't have enough action rounds. Yeah, I should have played Muslim Revolution and given him Alliance for Progress. Okay, okay. 1, 2. So let's threaten multiple places at once. Anyway, you have to play your scoring as well. It's only 2, of course, and probably can't be more. But really? You're kinda sorta annoying. With this no mill-ups policy. But of course I like the fact that you're sharing your ops with me so generously. So I hope he's getting rid of good cards as well. I mean, if he used salt negotiations to break Algeria, this really means something. On the positive side is that once Africa and Southeast Asia are scored, I may even play colonial rare cards if I think it's worth. On the negative side, I have 3 more action rounds. 2 of them have to be spent on scoring. So he gave me these 2, I'm gonna grab this 4. So I either give up spacing or give up mill-ups. If I give up if I give up spacing, I'm left with Bear Trap and Colonial Rare Guards, which doesn't make me really happy. Giving up mill-ups, on the other hand, gives up 2 points, but this is not entirely my choice, because I have nowhere to coup now. And yes, forgetting about Missile Envy and not headlining Muslim Revolution was a blunder. If I'm forced to space, I'm gonna space Colonial Rare Guards, because Bear Trap may be useful to play under some very unpleasant hand. Okay, if you're so afraid. Of South America scoring in my hand. Feel free now. Salt negotiations would be useful for him to grab Red Scar and gain 4 points instead of 2. That's not the worst hand I could have left. Oh, but you played the flower power having this one? I think this was misplayed by him to some extent. South America scoring and junta. Me likes it. A Cuban Missile Crisis on my side. Even if it weren't, I could just break Chile and realign. As of his cards, Usuri Reverse Skirmish is annoying, East European Unrest is totally acceptable, Kitchen Debates, which are inactive, are totally acceptable, Bear Trap is Bear Trap. So 1 space, 1 hold. If I'm hit by grain sales and have to play the entire hand, then of course I will suffer Usuri. Latin American death squads isn't what I like the most now. But degrading DEFCON is okay, and this was enough to score South American domination. So now we're waiting for Middle East and Asia. In Middle East, I have to secure, at the very worst, non-battlegrounds. And yes, Voice of America can cut my access off to these non-battlegrounds, after which I probably have to take Gulf states. It's too late to coup this, my friend. But now, if we have a look at Asia, it is a non-scored region, and Indo-Pakistani war is gone. So, this is the most urgent thing to do, I guess. Oh, this is why you could. Okay. I don't really have particularly good new targets for my ops. Let's play this event. It may be useful for all sorts of purposes. Next things to do, probably crawling through Central America. Threatening taking Cuba without the help of Fidel. I really want him to coup so that I have the option to play Che effectively. Actually, maybe it's space-time, because he's not really giving me too many things to worry about. Oh, should have played East European unrest previously. Okay, space bear trap. Because of course it's nice to have Che, but I'm under Latin American death squads. I think he's now taking off Romania, so one of these will be used there. Yeah. Always nice to have access here in case of some nasty realignments. If he doesn't coup Nicaragua now, I think I will play Che anyway, because I need mill-ups. He doesn't. That's a weird order of playing. Let's prepare this potential realignment option. Mill-ups taken. Asia, Middle East left, 6 points ahead. Not bad. But of course some nasty cards are looming, like grain sales, Voice of America, OAS, and of course Kennedy. And with South African unrest, he really should have elected me to trigger the event first. So now what? I don't really expect him to break South Korea with the China card. The Korean War still in the deck. But if he's forced to play the China card, this may be the decision. South Africa is interesting. If he doesn't secure it, Angola is vulnerable to realignments. If he does, successful coupping Angola renders South Africa vulnerable. This is how he dealt with it. Not convinced. I'm really not convinced about the way he did it. So many good cards. Let's start with Korean... No, Korean War is a bad card to start. Because if I fail, I either give him a coup or an option to play the China card here. Let's just grab the China card with the Cultural Revolution. ABM treaty wasn't what I wanted to see. At this stage of the game, I will probably play NORAD. Unplayable cards, of course, grain sales to Soviets. Everything else is more or less playable. If I control Suri, stinks. But still, NORAD looks the best attempt to coup, but where? Maybe Argentina. Let's ask a question. Should I coup now, or to be more precise, how should I play my hand? Because no particular cards are convenient to be spent on ops. Korean War should probably be evented, although the chances are quite minimal. Liberation Theology should certainly be evented, so is IEND. And I need ops, at least in Iraq. Somewhere in Asia would be nice as well. Maybe Korean War will wait in the deck. Not enough. Still vulnerable to realignments. Where's Quagmire? Nowhere here. So let's hope it's triggered sooner or later. And in the meantime, let's just play our game in Asia and Middle East. Oh, he scored Asia now. But it's worth securing domination anyway, maybe without Vietnam now that it's scored anyway. And there are more urgent targets. NORAD. If USA controls Madagascar, the engine doesn't know what really happens. I guess this is how I should read this icon right here. One more VP. So let's grab more VPs now, because Middle East won't get better and Sadat may make it worse. Then space grain sales. Maybe space for the second time, although I'm tempted to save the China card and Ussuri under my control and space Ussuri on turn 7 rather than 6. This time he succeeded. Grain sales, of course, can't really be held, so spacing them soon is wise. But if I do, as I said, I'm holding the China card as long as I want. I'm giving him nuclear subs for one action round only and getting rid of this. And now Arab-Israeli war is still active, although not in the deck, I guess. Yes, into discard. And now we start being aggressive. And yes, of course, nuclear subs may cost me Nigeria, for example. But if I'm aggressive enough, for example, break Chile or anywhere else, his decision is not gonna be easy. Our mining Tehran for influence. This might actually be wise, even if forced, because now that scorings are gone, this would be quite a useless card now. Oh, we are drawing 16 cards. So it probably means that we are drawing the entire deck and there is a reshuffle, but we are not redrawing any cards. Therefore, the question remains, all the cards that are currently on the discard pile will not be redrawn too soon, including, for example, CIA. So the big questions are who gets Long Gunman and who gets Ask Not. Of course this means and who gets Brush War, of course. Of course this means I don't get some next Muslim revolution, next socialist governments, next... Yeah, I lost Nigeria. Next De Gaulle. I got Kennedy. And he got Long Gunman. I believe he doesn't have defectors, yes. Plan for the turn. Not giving him Kennedy. Not giving him the China card. Oh, and I see his headline, and this happens to be Pope. The natural answer to Pope is De Gaulle in this case. I certainly don't like the fact that he has Brush War. I am playing the entire hand, so Ask Not is spaced. Ussuri is spaced if I can space twice, and then UN intervention. UN is probably getting rid of Sadat. If I can't space twice, UN intervention goes with Ussuri, and I'm gonna suffer both Sadat and Camp David Accords. And I have to wait with 5-year plan, which makes my hand somewhat less flexible than I would like to. So maybe the goal isn't as good idea, because I need ops. Yeah. I need ops more than I need France, actually. So let's headline Vietnam revolts. Instantly dominating Asia, following it with cooing Angola. Successlessly. Anything more would make a huge difference. I think I will space Ussuri, because this may make him thinking that I am going to play Kennedy on the last action round. Okay, he's gonna take Poland. And this is what I shouldn't allow. At least not so easily. Because this renders me vulnerable to the potential European control from his side. Oh, Mr. Big Spender, very big spender. Okay, in this case I have to either win the game before I lose due to Europe scoring, or simply hope that Europe comes early enough, earlier than tear down this wall. Keep China. Do not play Kennedy under any circumstances. Maybe keep 5-year plan, because now I don't have to play the entire hand if I play UN intervention for op. 5-year plan can be a lifesaver if I draw Europe. The plans are gone, because I will now have to play Kennedy, and this has to be UN intervened. Okay, in this case, let's do it now, and let's do it here, because I need a good realignment modifier against Germany. Yeah, I know they're controlling Czechoslovakia when there are some non-battlegrounds open, like Cuba or Chile. Actually, he should have Fidel. Yeah. Yeah, Canada for NORAD, Europe for domination. So, I'm giving up Middle East, but I am securing West Germany. Maybe not in this order. Let's first play Sadat, because just in case he has Arab-Israeli war, he of course can take Egypt and secure against Arab-Israeli war, but he still gives up 2 victory points due to 5 flower power if he plays it, plus if he takes Egypt now, he's gonna waste this 1 point before I give him this influence anyway by triggering Camp David, but he's not. He does it. He's playing, and he's over controlling Poland. This is certainly not worth recommendation. Now I need to have a closer look at the map, because I must admit I don't remember exactly what East Germany is adjacent to. Unfortunately, it's not adjacent to Denmark. So I can't simply take Denmark with 5-year plan just to have good realignment modifiers. But they are good enough now. So what I should do is to put 1 more in this West Germany. Yeah, brush war. A war card, and fortunately he lost. So 1 more to control it. If he plays tear down this wall and then doesn't hit here, so 1 here, and 2 here to have quite a good position to attack South America. Yeah, I didn't make any use of the Vietnam revolts. It wasn't supposed to. It was just a good headline giving me instant domination in Asia, because now I dominate Asia and both Americas. I'm only losing Europe, but as long as I'm not getting controlled there, it's okay. I may lose this game only by Europe control or by DEFCON, I guess. This is now vulnerable to Latin American debt crisis, Central America scoring, Muslim revolution. I don't have DEFCON degraders, well, at least no unconditional ones, but if I see Long Gunman headlined, yeah, I could headline Summit, but Summit is gonna trigger second. Grain sales hurt in my hand. If he hits my hand, I will have to trigger grain sales. Sorry, not trigger, but I will have to play it. On the positive side of this all is that I am very close to winning this game due to the scoring in my hand. Cuban Missile Crisis. If I headline the scoring now, it's funny that he picked Cuban Missile Crisis, degrading DEFCON himself with Long Gunman in hand. Okay, let's trigger the scoring and get close to victory in this game. So, immediate domination, which he can prevent on the spot only by taking Lebanon, but this is not enough, because if he thinks I may have this scoring card, Lebanon leaves 2 victory points here. Exactly how much I need, how many I need. Let's dominate yet another region. I will have to keep salt for some time, because if my hand gets hit, I have to have a backup. Okay, I like it, because now I got the answer about my decall dilemma. OAS is gonna hurt. Yeah. Cuban Missile Crisis. I would cancel it if only I had any, but I mean it, any target which I could coup. Influencing Yuri and Samantha. Okay, now the funny part starts. Because now I can play salt negotiations, grabbing nuclear test ban. And now if he coups, he gives me point due to Yuri and Samantha. Otherwise, and I still can win with nuclear test ban. Otherwise, I can instantly win with nuclear test ban. So let's try it. Just because it would be very funny to win this way. Yuri in Samantha is hardly ever decisive, and of course I will cancel Cuban Missile Crisis if he plays Long Gunman on me, but this seems to be even irrelevant now, because now what he's concerned about is him cooing, not me. Yeah, he's cooing with Comic-Con, but this costs him 1 point. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.